Sloane, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy to be here. We've been talking about this for a while.
Yes, finally.
And now it's finally here.
Yes.
So you travel a lot. So
Yeah.
it was like...
It was very hectic trying to get here, but I'm here. We made it.
Nice.
Yeah.
You celebrated a birthday recently.
Yeah.
You did. Happy belated.
Thank you.
You turned 32. I actually really loved your Instagram caption on your post that said, too cute to be 32.
I know.
Which, I mean, you are and will be gorgeous at any age.
Oh, thank you.
And the caption was really funny.
Yeah.
I do feel like we've reached certain ages where it's like, oh, this sounds serious.
No,
you know?
32 is like real.
Yeah.
It's all, I feel like every age is real, but this 32 is like, it's getting up there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's a lot more decision making at 32, I feel like, than even 30. Like 30 was just, okay, I'm 30, but now 32 is like, okay, now we're like cruising in there.
It does feel different to be 30 versus to feel like you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
It's those are two different things.
Now I'm in my 30s, but I don't feel like it. Like as a person, I don't feel like it, but my age, obviously I feel like it. So I don't know. Like it's just, I don't know. I think like the expectations of like being 32 and like your friends like getting married or having kids or whatever it is. Like obviously I travel, I'm still playing. So it's like my life looks a lot different than a lot of other people's. And like, I feel like everyone's journey is different, but it's like a weird like thing when you like see people on Instagram, you see like all of these things happening around you. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's happening. But not for me, but it's happening around me.
For sure. Yeah. Are there any things that you're maybe looking forward to in your 32nd year? Things that you really want to do this year?
So many things. I always want to do so many things.
Yeah.
But my big thing, I've convinced all of my friends to go to Machu Picchu with me. So that's like a good thing. Well, a good thing. I don't know. It'll be a fun thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the year. Because obviously my off season's only like November, December. So I don't have that much time to like do anything. But that's like our team trip will be that.
Mm-hmm. That'll be amazing.
They're all like, what? I'm like, that's what we're doing, people.
Trust me. Yeah,
you just like pick something. I feel like you always have to something look forward to. So I always like create some trip or create some like something. So everyone is like excited and looking forward to it. And like, I'm like, you guys have to train and like be ready. We're going to hike this mountain. Like it's a whole thing, but it's something you look forward to.
And with having such a short off season, because you spend so much of the year traveling, how do you keep any sort of like staying centered, staying on your routines when you're all over the world for most of the year?
Yeah. Every week is an adventure because there's so many. I was explaining to someone the other day, like in tennis, it's only you and your team. So there's no like group of people around you. It's just like your coach, maybe your fitness trainer, a friend, whatever. And 1 week your bag could get lost. Like 1 week your coach could get sick. 1 week, like there's all these things that happen all the time. And there's like a lot of adversity. So I feel like when I am traveling and there's like moments, I think that's why I've focused so much on like doing things for myself, because there's always hectic moments when I'm traveling. And like when I actually do get to go home, I like lock myself inside because I'm like, this is the only calm place. But I feel like throughout the year, like when you are traveling, again, there's so many like things that happen, and there's a lot of tennis stuff, there's a lot of work stuff, there's a lot of like, you know, obligations that you have to do, and there's always some sort of like hiccup. And I think how you like can manage that internally is like probably who has the best balance, right? And I think having balance outside of the court in terms of like self-care and like taking care of yourself and making sure that you're like aligned, like you can always control the controllables. And I feel like that's something that as I've gotten older, I've like been like, okay, what's working for me? Like, is this not working for me? Like, is this person not working for me? Like, do I need to go to the spa? Like, do I need to relax? Like, all of those things matter and like come together like as your balance, like how you figure out your balance and like what works for you.
Yeah. And it sounds like not being afraid to pivot if you realize that your needs are changing.
Oh yeah. I'm the queen of the pivot. I love it. I'm like, oh, we're going this way now. Like, no, that coach is not working. No. Mm-hmm. So, and that's just life. Like there's nothing that's perfect. Nothing is ever perfect, right? It's just like how you take the situation or whatever comes at you and you figure it out, right? It's all about like problem solving, whatever it may be. Obviously, being a professional athlete, it may be like my forehand's messed up or like I'm double faulting too much on my serve. Like those are things that you have to like change in the moment. And then like you get off the court and then it's like things at home. Like my gardener didn't show up for 2 weeks. Like life things happen. And I think whoever is able to like find a solution in the calmest way is probably the person who is the most victorious. But that's in life and in sports. Mm-hmm. So it's taught me a lot. And it's been hard. There's been a lot of hard lessons, I would say. And then growing up in like in the spotlight or on TV and people seeing you all the time, like all of those mistakes are like very much like in front of everyone. And as an 18-year-old or 20-year-old, it was very different. As a 32-year-old, I'm like, I don't care. But it's like, it's a growing, learning. It's very much a journey. And like the tennis journey it's a very emotional roller coaster. But again, it's just literally how you manage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's such a high pressure sport. Yeah. You've been a professional athlete in the sport for half your life at this point.
Yeah.
Which is like incredible, but also I'm sure has taught you so much about groundedness and finding a sense of calm even when you're under a great amount of pressure. Can you talk more about what that's been like for you?
So I think when I play, like when people watch me play, they're like, oh, you're so calm. Like, and I don't know. Honestly, I'd have no idea why, because when I was like a junior, I was like so crazy and like psychotic. Like I was just all over the place. But like as a pro, like I've always just been like, okay, like focus, like again, controlling the controllables, like on the court, like doing the best I can, like figuring out those 3 things that I need to do that day and like focus on that. And I've just always been kind of like, I don't know, just what's the word? It's what's the word that when you're just like
kind of like even keeled or like...
Yeah, even keeled, but there's like a word for it. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I've just always been like very neutral. And sometimes it works amazing for me. And then sometimes it's like, oh my God, she had no energy. Like she wasn't showing any emotion. But I'm like, I've literally been like that my whole career. I've been playing professional tennis for 15 years. And I don't think I've ever like been too high or too low. Like I'm just like neutral. I don't know. That's just like my tennis personality.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. But off the court, I'm like a totally different person.
Yeah. Okay, wait, let's talk about that. So like off the court, let's talk about what Sloane is like.
Oh my God. Nobody actually
telling really funny stories and having like the craziest things happen.
No, literally we were walking down the street yesterday and my friend was like, no one would actually believe that any of these things happened to you. And I'm like, no, I went to spa with my mom and they were having the most, I can't even tell you. It was like the most ridiculous conversation. But I'm like, it's just not, I don't know. Like all of these crazy things happen to me. And I feel like nobody actually knows me. Only my friends know me, which is very weird. I don't know if that's honestly because as a professional athlete, like growing up in the spotlight, like people are always constantly judging you. So you never actually show like your real like person, like your real personality. And I feel like all my family members, all of my friends are like, oh my God, if the world knew you like this, like you'd have your own TV show. And I'm like, yeah, but they're never going to know me. Like, I feel like it's so like people nowadays work so hard to show their personality. And like, that's how people make money these days, which is great. But if I did that every day, I'd probably be really rich. I'd be more rich than I am now, which would be great. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to like force yourself on people when the stakes are so high. Like if you're playing the US Open, you're playing a Grand Slam, like all of those little details matter when people start picking on you or, you know, the media starts picking on you or they're talking about your weight or they're talking about this. So like they talk about your weight, so then you don't show any more food pictures. Then they talk about, you know, your acne, so then you don't post any more like skincare things. Like it's just like kind of like it's just a thing. Like I don't know. And when you've been exposed to it, you get so used to like protecting yourself and guarding yourself that you're like, okay, I'm not gonna let people see that part of me, right? And now like I don't even like post anything because I'm like, okay, someone's gonna have something to say about it. Like no, never mind. I like post a picture of my mom. I'm like, they love her. It's great. Like, it's the only thing I post. I'm like, yes, to my stories. Picture of my mom. That's it. Because everything else is always so, I don't know. It's just so challenging. It's such a terrible thing, but it's like an okay thing at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I think in so many ways, like our brains are not designed to have the amount of like interactions and other people's opinions and just sheer exposure to information that we are exposed to every day.
Definitely not.
By any means.
No, it's hectic. And I say all the time, I'm like, okay, like my social meter is out, guys. Like I will be going to my room. Like I will see you guys later. don't call me. Like, that's just how I communicate with my friends. Like, I've had enough. Like, thank you so much. I love you, but I'll have to see you tomorrow. Like, I just kind of know, like, I would say I'm very aware of like my person, and that's because I've had to be because of tennis and like being a professional athlete. Like, all of those things matter in sport, right? When you're competing. And so being like hyper aware of everything that I'm feeling. So my friends, like, I know, like, I'm like, don't call me. Like, we're not going to a concert. Like, I don't include me. Like, I want to be included, but like, I'm not going. Like, invite me, but I'm probably not going. So I think that that's kind of just like getting older and like realizing what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and just like being exposed to so many different things at so many different times in your life. As like a young person, I would say like 32 is still young, but all the things I've experienced until now, like most of it's not normal. Like most of it's kind of hectic and crazy, but that's just kind of the life that you live. And yeah, sometimes the things that you do experience are like over your max, like over your capacity of like what you can kind of take in and how you deal with things, and you kind of self like push through anyway.
Yeah, it's like a form of managing your energy so that you can allocate it towards what really matters to you.
Definitely.
And even a little bit of, I feel similarly in some ways where there are definitely a lot of things that I don't share on social media. And because I'm more of like a content creator, I have to share like a little bit more in some ways. But I always joke that there are parts of my personality that I like gatekeep. I'm like, oh, this is for the IRL only.
Yes,
this is an IRL experience for some certain quirks and things that some people just won't know unless they're experiencing it IRL. And I think that's okay.
No, it's totally okay. But I had so many crazy messages after the match that I was like, oh, we shouldn't do a birthday post because it's going to be like all the comments are just going to be people like crazy betters or whatever. So it's hard to manage. But I think that, again, like my personality and like feeling good about like who you are on the inside, no matter what it looks like on social media. Like, social media is not real life. Like, again, that's not my real personality. Like, it is like, you can see my life, you can see my photos, you can see like what I'm doing, but like I don't think like your joy or your happiness maybe maybe it looks a certain way, but like you actually would never know like what I'm going through as a person, because I'm very guarded. Mm-hmm. And that's just because of the times.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense for sure. And I think that with that, I'm sure comes a lot of mental toughness, and I think that is probably a quality that a lot of athletes competing at that level would have to have.
Yes.
Have you felt like mental toughness is something that you developed more over time?
I would say so. Like, in my career, as I've played more and like figured out my game more and figured out like what it takes to win and how I have to win and all of those things. I like, you just have to be mentally tough just in general. If you want to be a competitor, like you have to have that, like it's in you, right? I don't think it's something that's really like, you don't find it and like figure it out later. Like, it's always there. You just have to like tap into those parts that make you want to compete harder or make you want to like go like push a little bit further. And for me, I've always been a super competitive person, but I think what kind of always like made me a little bit standoffish is that I'm like almost too good of a sport. Like, I'm like, I'd rather lose than cheat someone, or I'd rather like not play the match, or then like go and play and like the tournament doesn't get a good match or whatever. Like, I've always just kind of been like, that's not like a good look. That doesn't make me feel good, right? And I think a lot of the times that's probably come off like, oh, she doesn't care or whatever. But like, I just have like a different approach. Like, I rather like, I don't know, like I'd rather not win than like get it the wrong way. Like, I rather just not win than to cheat or like whatever it is. And I think a lot like in junior tennis, there's like a bunch of like cheating and hooking and like all this stuff. And I was just like, my mom was like, we're going to sushi after, it doesn't matter. I'm like, so I always kind of grew up with that, just like, it's like always going to be okay. Like, there's always more to it. And I think a lot of the people that like I grew up playing with, sometimes where they came from, like it's not going to be okay. So like, you have to do that. And like, I just, again, as like my career has gone on, like I'm super competitive, but I don't feel like I need to do the wrong thing. I'm not forced to do the wrong thing. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with like being a good sport or a good competitor. And like, if that's all I am, then that's okay with me, right? I think a lot of people, like, if I only won one Grand Slam, I was like, that's totally fine with me. Like, all good. Like, I did what I needed to do. Like, a little 9-year-old girl from Fresno, California won a slam. And I'm like, that's great. Like, something your parents can be proud of. And like, that's it. But I feel like I was competitive, but I didn't have enough of like the edge to like want to cheat or like do kind of craziness or like, I don't know, what do you like when you have like medical timeouts? Like in tennis, there's like so many like things you can do, like medical timeouts, and you can like stop play and you can do this. Like I've probably in my whole career, I've probably had 3 or 4 medical timeouts, and maybe if that, and like 2 of them were because I broke my foot, and like I don't know, like I just the gamesmanship and stuff is not like my vibe.
Yeah, like it doesn't need to be by any means necessary.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah.
And that's like a flaw of mine. I would say.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think from the outside looking in, because also like, what do I know? It sounds really healthy. That actually sounds like a very
like
healthy,
normal thing.
Yeah, like a very healthy perspective to have.
Yeah, my mom's a psychologist, so that's probably
that
why.
Tracks.
That makes more sense. But yeah, like I just felt like I was never forced to like do something I didn't want to do, especially in my sport. And I've definitely gotten judged for that. But again, I can live with that. That's okay.
Yeah. But I also think that even for the different phases of your life as you move into them, it's probably going to be a much healthier transition having that mindset.
I think so. I think I've lived a full life even through my tennis career, and I've kind of like done it on my own terms, and I've done everything I wanted to do. And I think a lot of the times it's like tennis. You can only focus on tennis, and like that's it, right? Your whole life is tennis. And I was just always the person that I was like, that's just not true. Like, I'm going to go on vacation. Like, I'm going to like do the things I want to do. Like, I'm going to do what makes me happy. And again, I have gotten super judged for it, but I've like lived my life to the point where like I'm happy like with my decisions. I can live with my decisions. I can live with like my tennis career. Like when I retire, I'm gonna be like, oh, that was super fun. And now I have like 60 more years to live. Like, what am I going to do with my time? Like, I feel like there's so much to life that tennis is like it's like 2% of your whole life. And there's so much more. So I think like the transition into, I guess, just being an adult and like an entrepreneur and like a philanthropist, like all the things that I want to do when I retire, like will be there for me. And I feel like the transition will be fine because it's just like a part of my life.
Yeah. That's really refreshing though, because you also have been really great.
Oh, thank you.
And I think the important message there that it shares with people is like, you can be great and it doesn't have to be your entire identity, which it sounds like that's what you're describing.
Yes. I feel like a lot of tennis players only know themselves as tennis players. Like if you ask them, like, what else do you see in yourself? They're like, I'm a tennis player. And if you ask me, I'm like, I could name you 30 things. I'm like, I'm a good cook. I'm all of these things, right? And I feel like tennis gives you that. It takes up your whole being. And like in the media, if you're not good, if your ranking isn't good, if you're not where you want to be, like it literally, like it changes your whole mood. Like it's who you are. Like it's like if you're not where you want to be, like everything in your life is in shambles. Like it's just, you're not in a good place. And I've been in so many different situations where like my ranking is dropped or I've been injured or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, like if it's meant to be, it'll be. Like if I can come back and play well, like that's what the universe has called me to do. Like it's just really a matter of accepting like where you are and letting things like play out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that even in a lot of ways, the everyday person can, I think, relate to that, because a lot of people's, jobs and things that they do every day definitely do not have the scrutiny and the pressure that you have experienced. But I do think a lot of people, similar to what we were talking about at the beginning of the conversation, feel sometimes like, okay, if I'm not in this place by a certain time, or if I haven't done these things by a certain age, or if they feel, like behind in some way, like the pressure of that can be a lot for a lot of people. And it can get people really down. And I think we often just need reminders that, like, ideally life is long. And I think we all put a lot of pressure on ourselves to cram everything we want to do into our 20s and 30s, as if like those are the only decades we can do anything. And like everything else after that is invalidated in some way. And it's just like, it's not true, no matter what level you're at.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like there's, again, after tennis, there's like hopefully 60 more years or 50 more years of life to do all of these things. And I feel like as a tennis player, you kind of are so in the moment. You're so focused on what's happening right now, or like the next slam or the next tournament and the next week and the ranking. And like, that's it for you, right? And it's like when you retire, like, again, like so many athletes, you retire and you're like, okay, like what happens? Like you're confused, you're lost, you're like trying to figure out even what you like outside of tennis. Like what do you like outside of football? What do you like outside of whatever sport you're playing? And that's just like a normal like athlete thing, because you dedicate your whole life to like one thing, and that's all that matters to you. And I feel like tennis has been a part of my life. It hasn't like defined who I am. I feel like I'm like, I don't know. Like I feel like there's so much more to life. I've always felt like that. Like I've always felt like there's so much life to live. And like after tennis, like hopefully have kids one day, like found a husband. He's all right. Like life has not been on the perfect track for me. Like things haven't happened in like the perfect way or like the way I planned. But I'm like, oh, this is happening now. Like, all right, let's ride the wave. I think, again, like whatever you believe in, like the universe guiding you or whatever, like whatever's in front of you, again, you have to work hard to get to whatever you want, or you have to like be proactive in the things you want, whether that's having kids. Like I froze my eggs because I was like, okay, maybe gonna still play tennis for another 3 years, maybe not. I have no idea. So let's like freeze these babies up so we can see, so we have options later. Like all of those things, like you kind of have to be proactive to kind of get yourself there, and then you can figure it out from there. But I feel like a lot of things in life that don't really have anything to do with tennis, for someone who works a regular job and goes to work, like you can be proactive to like make those things happen for yourself. But it just depends on like what you want. Everyone wants different things, and everyone thinks that their timeline is supposed to be perfect. And like when I'm 32, I'm going to have 2 kids already. Like I have a friend, one of my like closest friends, she's 2 years older than me. She has 3 kids. And I'm like, girl, you are so brave. Like, I love you so much. I'm like, you are so brave.
Superwoman.
Literally superwoman. Works a full-time job. Husband works a full-time job. Like, I'm so proud of you guys. Like, that's so not me, but I am so proud of, like, I look at their little family. I'm like, I love them. That's perfect. Like, I would love that one day. But again, she did that when she was 26. Like, I'm 32 and I have no kids. And I'm like, just because she did that doesn't mean that I can't do that in 3 years, but it's just everyone's timeline and journey is very different. And you have to kind of accept that. I feel like a lot of people like don't want to accept it, so they just force it. And they're like, I'm going to marry this person. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have this baby. And it's like, a little bit forced.
Yeah. And it's sometimes I think when you force things like that, you end up in situations that are maybe not ideal or not what's truly meant for you with. And there is like this middle ground, because I loved what you talked about in terms of being proactive. And I do think so much of that kind of aligns with like the new direction of the show, this idea of She's So Lucky, like the ways that we create our own luck. And I do think so much of luck is like preparation, being proactive, preparing ourselves for the things that we want. And there's a difference between being prepared and like being proactive versus like forcing things that, you know,
that don't align.
Basically.
I feel like a lot of things in life, this is like so crazy and like a second side to this, but we have a friend who like really believes in God, goes to church 3 times a week, like whatever. And she's always like, God will make a way. Like, I just have to pray about it and I have to do this. Again, I totally believe that. Like, I pray every night before bed. Like, I agree with that. But you also have to get yourself there, right? Like, you have to be proactive enough to say, I maybe want kids. I maybe want to get this job. I maybe want to open this restaurant. I'm like those things, like you have to take steps to those things.
Yeah.
I firmly believe God will make a way, but you have to make the way and like go on the path to get there.
Yeah.
And then maybe your miracle happens or whatever happens. That's just the universe aligning for you, right? But it's like you have to take steps. You have to work hard to go in that direction, whatever it may be. And then, of course, it may happen. And then we're lucky. And like it's just meant to be.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of prayers are answered through action.
Absolutely. Like you have to make a move. Like you have to take the first step. You have to like go in that direction. And I always say like on my team, everyone who's on my team, I'm like, everyone has to be rowing in the same direction. And like I've very much this last like 6 months, I've been like, I have so many people, so many friends, like people who work for me that I'm like, if you're not aligned with what we're doing, if you're not rowing in that same direction, if you're not on the same page, like everyone has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that if you are not rowing in that direction, you have to get off the boat now. Like there's no time to be like, oh, let's wait, let's see. Get off. Like the firmness I've ever been, get off my boat.
Yeah.
Like that holds you back. Like people like that hold you back. Yeah. And it's like, that sours everyone on the boat. That like now everyone is seasick. Now we're throwing up. Now we're there's so many different things that happen when you have one sour grape. And it's like, get them out of your life. Get them off of your team. Get them away from you as quickly as possible. Because it's like those types of things impact your whole life, right? Like your job, your work, like whatever it is, like whatever's important to you. And that is like what people don't realize. You wait so long to like do things for yourself. And you protect yourself in that way to try to, you know, like make yourself feel better. But at the end of the day, like you're only hurting yourself.
Right.
So it's like, get off my boat.
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, people wait for the perfect time to do something or to take action. But oftentimes something can't be perfect if you don't start moving first. And the way to make something better is actually to get started and improve as you go instead of like always waiting for the right moment to move.
One step forward, just like take the step.
Yeah.
And then see what happens like for the second step and the third step or whatever it is. And I firmly believe that if you go in that direction, if it's meant to be, it's totally going to meant to be. It's already written, right? It's like whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And you can only do your best. Like you literally can only do your best. And if it happens, that was meant to be. Like that was your destiny. That's in front of you. But you do have to work a little bit to get there, right? And I think a lot of times people think it's gonna appear, but it's like it's not luck. It's like those steps that you took to get there, like you made a way for yourself. And then at the end, like when you needed that little like door to open, then it just kind of flew open and we didn't know why. And that's okay too. Like, yeah, it can be your luck and that can be what pivots you and turns you into whatever it is.
Exactly. The actions taken. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would love to come back to something that you mentioned a little bit ago. You talked about freezing your eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a topic that we have actually talked about on the podcast. I've had a few doctors come on, like OBGYNs who often take their patients through that process, been on the podcast, and they've like described it very medically. But I think you might be the first guest, at least where it's come up in conversation, who has actually done it.
Okay.
So if you're comfortable, would you mind like just sharing a little bit more about that experience, how it went, what it was like for you?
It was totally fine.
Yeah.
I did it twice, actually. So I did it at the end of 2022 in my off season, and then I just did it now again in 2024 in my off season. And I, again, not knowing how much longer I was going to play tennis, I was like, this is probably like the best idea. Like this is like the best step for me in case, like what if I retire at 34, 35, I'm having a hard time getting pregnant. I don't have like that backup, right? So I'm like, let's just do it. And if I don't use them, great. If I do use them, also great, whatever. So I actually worked with a company. They're in New York. It's called Kind Body. And they do everything. And you get your egg count, you like figure out like your follicles, your count, like all of the things. You do all the blood tests, you do all the blood work. They ask you, like if you want to make them just freeze your eggs, you want to make them embryos, like with your partner, whatever it is. And you do injections. Everyone's cycle is like different. So my first cycle was only 9 days of like injections. You have to inject yourself every day. So if you're like squirmy about injecting yourself, like you need someone to like help you and support you. I love grim stuff like that. So I'm like just popping it in and I don't mind.
Yeah.
But it is like a journey. You get bloated. Like the first time I was super bloated, I looked like I was 8 months pregnant. It was hectic.
How did you feel?
And I was fine. Like for the first 6 or 7 days, I was totally fine. And then I like blew up. I was like a big girl. So I was like, okay, don't know where that came from. But I was totally fine. I felt a little bit tired at the end. But it's also like, it's honestly like my second cycle was 15 days. So it was a bit longer. Yeah. I didn't gain that much weight, which was good. I had, in my first cycle, I gained 15 pounds, like over the whole course, but it was only 9 days, which was a little bit weird. I think the medication was like a little bit off. So when I went back the second time, they totally changed my medication and I got more eggs and I didn't gain any of the weight.
Okay.
So I gained maybe like 4 or 5 pounds, which
so your body responded differently.
Yeah, it was like a different thing. And I took some different medication or whatever. But overall, like you go get a vaginal ultrasound every day to check, right? You get blood work every other day or whatever. And depending on your case, everyone is different. You inject yourself every day. Some are like you take pills, some you take like vaginal inserts, like whatever you have to do. And the first time I got 16 eggs and the second time I got 19. So that was good, right? Yeah. Little, what do they call it? Caviar fish girl. So I was like, okay, this is good. Yeah. But yeah, they put you to sleep. Like when they actually do the retrieval, it's pretty simple. It's literally like 20 minutes. They put you under. For simpler terms, they suck it out and you wake up and you're totally fine and you can go home. It's pretty simple. Yeah. Like I think it's more emotionally like draining, like in the process of you're doing it. If you're going to work every day, mind you, this isn't my off season. So I'm literally sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. Like I have no pressure. I'm just literally chilling.
Was there recovery time involved after?
Yeah. So I think you have to wait. I think it's like 2 weeks. So like you can't have sex, you can't work out, like you can't do anything because you could get like ovary torsion, which I did get a little bit of the first time. Okay. I wasn't working out, but I did go to Iceland, so I flew. And I was like, oh, my stomach's hurting a little bit. And I was like, yeah, this is not.
And what is an ovarian torsion?
So it's like when your ovaries kind of, they expand. I think they get bigger and then they like twist. Oh, so then it's like super painful. Yeah. So I don't know. It just depends on like your drugs, if they're right for you, if they're like balanced properly, like all of those things, hormones. Like that was like the first time I'd ever put like legit hormones in my body outside of birth control. So like, and it was an everyday thing. You do it twice a day, the whole thing. So the journey it was not like, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
If you're like thinking about kids, you want kids, you don't have a partner, you don't know what your timeline is. Like I have recruited like 25 people to do this. So I always say like, just do it and then see what happens. Maybe you never need it. Maybe you never even think about it. Maybe you meet your husband on the street the next day and you end up having kids and it's totally fine. Yeah. But like to have that just security of knowing that it could take like you could not meet your person and want to have kids or whatever. Or maybe you never want to have kids. You decide you don't want kids and that's okay too. Like I think everyone can figure it out, but if you don't actually do it, then you don't have that option. For sure. And I feel like having the option is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
I feel like.
Yeah. And I think as women, when it comes to our reproductive health, like our having options, exploring those options, having a little bit more say over when we go down that path versus when we don't just makes all the difference in our lives.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to make a decision like I didn't want to have to make the decision to like, oh, I'm going to stop playing because I want to have kids. Like, that's like unfair. Dudes can play like till they're 40 and not have any disruptions. Like everything's like totally fine. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it for me. I'm going to like figure it out and see where I go. Like timelines are always different. Like, and you don't have to like adjust your timeline because you want to have a family. Like that just seems, in my mind, seems unfair. So I'm like, okay. And that's mostly why I did it. Because I'm like, I don't want to have to stop whatever I'm doing to like have a family. And that's also something that I also really want. So it's like, again, being proactive, taking the step to like, okay, like get me there. And then we'll see. Like you can see in a year or 2 years or 3 years, like what you want to do.
Yeah. I would also love to talk to you about entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because you also have a brand that you launched last year.
My baby.
Yes.
My newborn.
Tell us about your baby, Doc Glo.
Yes. So I launched Doc Glo in August of last year before the US Open, the week before the US Open. And I've been working on it for a while. Like, so it was like my COVID baby. And Doc and Glo was my grandparents. My grandpa was Doc. My grandma was Glo. And I feel like whenever I work on a project or I do something, like I always have to have it very personal to me. Like it makes me want to like do more. Like I find different ways to like figure things out. And like, I don't know, it just makes me love it more. And my grandparents passed away 7 days apart from each other in 2021, like right at the end, like not the end of COVID, but January 21, when I was actually playing a tournament. I was in Australia for Australian Open and I was in quarantine for 14 days. And like, I was like, it was really just an awful time. But I would say that like everyone, well, people who grew up with a grandparent, like my grandparents were like the best. Like we did everything together. Like they were still traveling to tournaments with me. Like we were still doing all of these amazing things. And I feel like a grandparent's love is like, it just doesn't get any better than that, right? It's like the thing that you remember most, like about your childhood or like about things. And I feel like my grandparents really were like the glue to like my whole family. And we did like all of my family trips, like everything we did always together. And I was like, okay, what do I want to name my brand? And we went through all these like Tennessee names and like court names. And I was like, no, I'm just going to name it Doc and Glo because those are my two favorite people. And that's what I wanted to be called. Yeah. Right. And I think that was kind of how I got to the name. And then like products and what I wanted to do. So initially I had a whole different idea that I was going to do. And I settled on body care because I was like, this is the thing that resonates with me most and like what I'm feeling in my everyday life and what my focus is and what I'm taking care of. So I'm like, body care is what I really want to create more options in this category, right? I want a luxury product without the luxury price tag. Like I want it to look a certain way without having to pay a certain way, right? And I want it to be very accessible. I wanted it my grandpa was an OBGYN and he delivered like 30,000 babies. So throughout my life, it was always about like self-care, taking care of yourself. Like there was always so many women that like my grandparents would help out and like take care of. My grandma also worked in my grandpa's office. I think my mom actually worked there at one point too. Like it's just like a family thing, right? And it was always about like taking care of yourself and making sure that like you had what you needed for your body, like mentally. Obviously, my mom's a psychologist, so mentally and physically. And I wanted to put all of those things together and like what I saw as like a good brand, like something that I would want to purchase. I would like want to walk into a store and be like, oh, I like that. I want to buy that. That's new. That's something I haven't seen before. Like all of those things. So I convinced everyone that I was going to start a body care brand, and that's where it started. And my mom's given me a budget every year, and we've just worked off that. Like it's just literally been my like dream. Like, well, it's been like my passion project, but now it's not a passion project because it actually makes money. So I'm like, that's good. That's a good thing. Yeah, it's like a real company.
Yes.
And I think it's something like no one believes in it until someone believes in it type of thing. And again, when we started, we launched with 2 products because, as everyone knows, entrepreneurship is expensive.
It is, especially with a physical product. Yeah.
Please. So I was like, we're starting with 2 and we'll see who actually buys this. Mm-hmm. Good thing you guys bought it. Yeah. So that was good. And we started with that. Then we launched 2 more. We launched the scrub and the lotion, which has done really good.
And the initial 2 were the deodorant and the body
and the
spray.
mist. Yeah. And the body mist. Yeah. So fragrance free. Again, my grandparents always believed in like very simple like products. So everything we pretty much had was like fragrance free or like very light scented. And like that's things that I remember like growing up. Like I remember getting it, like taking a bath in my grandparents' like green tiled bathroom and like having like this big bar of soap and like having like this long rag. I don't even know where we got these. Like, I don't even know. I'm like, where do these things come from? But like, I remember all of those things about like growing up and like taking care of myself and like learning how to use a wash rag and like what to do and like all of those things. Like, I feel like I'm incorporating into the brand because it's like things that I know everyone kind of has like gone through, right, in their process, but just in a more adult way, right? We don't have baby products, but like I still do the same thing now as I did when I was 5. Like it's all the same. And I feel like self-care and like body care, people kind of forget to take care of themselves, right? I'm very big on anywhere I go, I'll go to a spa. Anywhere I go, I will go to like a bathhouse. I will go to the sauna in the hotel. Like I do all those things, but it's become a part of my life. Yesterday when we went, I asked my mom, I'm like, when the last time you got a massage? And she's like, it's been years. I'm like, years? Like,
We
what have
changed
you
that
been doing?
today.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing with your life? Mind you, we went there and she talked to the massage therapist the whole time. I'm like, why were you talking?
You're supposed to relax.
You're supposed to be quiet. I'm like, think about your own thoughts. Like, why are you talking? Like, that's not why we're here. So I feel like people forget to like take care of themselves and like take care of your body. And like, we got a body scrub, but I get a body scrub like once a month. Like, that's like my thing. That's what I like to do. Like, it's like makes me feel good. Like, I love like putting oils on myself and like, that's just my thing, right? And I feel like so many of us forget. So like, I wanted to create a brand that you couldn't forget. Like, that's the whole brand. That's the idea. That's like the philosophy. That's like how you think of self-care, but you can do it at home, right? It's not, you don't have to go to the spa to do it. Like, get the body scrub out and let's go to work. Like, you can do that for yourself. And that was a big part of the brand. So now we have 4 products and we're launching 2 more, and we're in Revolve, we're in Free People, we're on Amazon. We've started off well, which I'm like really proud of, because it's something that I've like literally done by myself with like my mom. So it's like something to actually be really proud of. And I feel like as a tennis player, like I got my degree and I got my master's degree and I was like, I'm never going to use any of that. I'm just learning about meta ads. Like, I've never had to use that before, right? So it's like all of those things make it new and exciting. So find something to look forward to, and obviously always have goals, but then find something that like really excites you in your business. And all of those things right now, maybe because I'm new, excite me, but I'm like, this is so fun.
Yeah, but it is good advice. There is always something that you should be looking forward to and excited for. And if not, then maybe it's time to pivot. Maybe it's time to refresh. Maybe it's time for another perspective. It's really good advice.
Exactly.
I think I needed to hear it, girl. It's me. It's me who you're talking to.
You're the girl.
Yeah, the girl.
But no, like the pivot is okay. Like, it's totally fine. It's life. It's what happens. It's like your new you. It's a chance to be like, this is me. Hey guys, representing myself. Like, here I am.
We
and I think we love a rebrand. But like, yeah, I think it's totally okay.
Yeah.
And like, you just kind of gotta get a little DJ skirt and like figure it out. And it doesn't matter what people think, because it's like, this is my new brand. So what's up? Like,
Exactly.
that's it.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Sloane, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, no, this was so much fun. I feel like you dropped so many gems, so many. Yes, so much like helpful advice that I think could be applicable to so many people who are listening. Can you please let the girls know where they can find you, where they can find Doc Glo again? I know you mentioned it earlier, but we're going to remind people again so they can go get it.
We are on, like, where can we? toughness.com we are. And then we are on Revolve. We're on Free People. We're in some FP Movement stores, which is very cool. It's like our first little, like, in retail, like IRL. But yeah, mostly D2C. As you entrepreneurs know, D2C is our strongest selling point. At the moment, it's costing me a little bit to acquire customers, so I would appreciate it. And yeah, just support any way you can, because supporting is not monetary. It's not, you don't have to buy anything. Like a repost on social media, just commenting on a post, like all of those things are support. All of those things help. So it's like, if you can't buy something, you can share on social media. Like, that's also super helpful.
Exactly. Amazing. We'll make sure it's all linked in the show notes to make it easy for people to find and support.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thanks
joining
for having
me.